Say go JoJo, go JoJo, go JoJo, I go JoJo, I go JoJo, I go JoJo. Ah, don't touch the camera, don't touch the camera, don't touch the camera, don't touch. Go Rick. Okay. Hi my beautiful YouTube friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. If you are new, welcome to the team. I don't know why you're here, but I'm glad you are, so hope you stay a while. And if you're not new, shout out to you too. Thank you all for messing with me. I was gonna cuss, but try not to do that on my channel. I am going to do another, I don't know if I want to call it the Get Unready With Me movies and makeup. I did one similar when I ranked the Saw series movies. So I'm coming with another ranking. I said, why not do it while I'm undoing my makeup that I did today. Featuring Joseon's hand per usual. In preparation for the newest season of American Horror Story, my favorite show, I said, why not rank the seasons, all my favorite seasons. There might be some unpopular opinions. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some unpopular opinions, maybe some shockers for you, but my opinion is my opinion, your opinion is your opinion. We can talk about our differences or our similarities in the comment section. Also in the comments, also in the comments, I want you to let me know your favorite American Horror Story season and why. Like, why is that your favorite over all the other ones? You can also do what I did and rank them and tell me why you ranked them how you did. Let me know if we have the same rankings, if we're like vastly different. And if you want to like fight over my opinion on seasons, we can do that too. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the video and take all this beautiful natural makeup off. So you know, first I just take off my lashes. I kind of just peel them off just because I'm lazy. But when I am not feeling lazy, I'll wipe them off with a makeup wipe. But we're just gonna peel them off today. As you know, American Horror Story has 9 seasons. The 10th season will be premiering on August 25th, which is right around the corner from the day I'm recording this video. So let's start off with number 9, of course. So my number 9 is Roanoke. So Roanoke is season 6 in the American Horror Story series, and the basic premise is it starts off as like a documentary type of show detailing a couple's experience living in virtually a haunted Roanoke house. And then in the middle of the season, it goes to the real life people, and they're doing like a follow-up to the documentary where they are going back to the same house along with the counterparts from the documentary. They're all moving into the house together. And I like the historical aspect of it, that is based off of like real history, like how the Roanoke village colony, everybody disappeared. I remember learning that in school. So when I first heard that Roanoke was the season, and this was the season that had like all the hyped up trailers and hints, you had to guess like what the season's gonna be about. All the hype didn't really live up to the actual series for me. I really didn't like how it was like a 2-part. Like the first half was a documentary on a real life situation, just fine, and then it went to the real people and the actors staying in the house, and just they didn't believe that the stuff happened. I'm not a fan. I know a lot of people actually really like it, but I think most people can feel me on they didn't like it either. But I don't think anybody else would rank it so low, which I think would be an unpopular opinion. But that was my least favorite season of American Horror Story. My number 8 ranking goes to Freak Show. I think that's gonna be another unpopular opinion, and I kind of feel bad for putting Freak Show kind of low. It wasn't a bad season, it just wasn't for me, but it did bring about one of my favorite American Horror Story characters, monsters. I won't call him a villain, he was misunderstood. Twisty the Clown. And I actually have seen that Twisty's gonna come back on an episode of American Horror Stories, which is like a follow-up to the actual American Horror Story, like a little anthology. So I can't wait to see him. I think he's gonna be on the season finale of American Horror Stories, because he was truly terrifying. But he didn't last the whole season, so once he was gone, it was just kind of like, what I have to watch for. But basically, Freak Show follows a traveling circus. Well, they don't travel, they're really based in the city of Florida. They're traveling like Freak Show carnival, circus kind of scenario where they're all freaks. Very Barnum and Bailey, bearded lady, man with the claws. and just how they're not accepted in their town, and like how they're just trying to revive the circus lifestyle. And I don't know, it just, there were parts that were just kind of off-putting for me, so I really wasn't a fan. But I think, you know, entertainment wise, acting wise, concept wise, it was good. It just wasn't for me, so I'm not really a freak show fan. So next, number 7, I have Apocalypse. I think people, I probably should switch freak show and Apocalypse, but I actually did like Apocalypse. I didn't really like that it was Coven Part 2. Like, I really don't like how they tied in the Coven witches. Like, I like the idea of them being in the bunker more. They really like killed off the original people that were starting off the season, like on the 2nd or 3rd episode. And I think if they would have followed that storyline of all these other characters who end up getting freaking killed, as opposed to bringing the witches back and them fighting the warlocks, I think I would liked it better. I like Coven. A lot of people make it their number 1. I guess spoiler for the rest of this video, it's not my number 1. And honestly, where I rank it is just because it's an OG season. But we'll get to that close to the beginning. So I didn't really, I think Apocalypse has so much potential. Like, with it being named Apocalypse, I don't think it really followed the apocalypse as much as it should have. Like, it really was just a reason to bring the Coven witches back, and I didn't like that personally. A lot of people love the Coven witches and like that they came back, but then they don't like the season, and I think that's why, because it's supposed to be American Horror Story. Apocalypse was really just like a back story. It was just like a prop or a reason to bring the witches back. It was the apocalypse. Of course, witches are gonna survive. Apocalypse, you could have did so much better. All right, my number 6 is Cult. I think it's another one that people probably would rank lower and they didn't like it, but I enjoyed Cult because it was so realistic to the times at hand. It covers the election of the orange guy and how the fallout affected the country, and how there were his cult-like following who were just really evil people and doing really evil things. For the fact that it was so realistic and so symbolic to what was going on in the country at that time, I love Cult. Like, I could probably rewatch Cult. I might actually rewatch Cult since I'm bringing it up in this video. Surprising that Cult is actually not higher up. I kind of really just ranked them really quick. Like, I didn't really think too hard about it. Just kind of went off the dome like, I'll rank it here, 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 here. But Cult probably deserves to be a little bit higher up, honestly, because I really did enjoy Cult. I don't know why people didn't like it. I think the acting, the story, the pacing, everything was just great. And like I said, the symbolism of current America was perfect. Next up, we have Hotel. I think Hotel was the most beautifully shot, artistic season, which is why I have it up a little higher. I don't think people didn't like Hotel though. I think adding Lady Gaga was a great addition because she really fell in with the vibe and the aura and the aesthetic of the hotel. How it was like these fashionable rich people. She is extremely fashionable in her own way, like high fashion meets vampirist, which is exactly what she was. So your hotel follows a supposedly cursed hotel, the Cecil Hotel, I think it was called. If that's not the name of it, that's the hotel it's based off of. And just that it is overrun with dead people and vampires who want to live forever. And there's a detective. There's also a backstory of him trying to find a killer, which in the twist at the end of the season, when he actually finds the killer, is very fascinating to me. I love a good twist that you're not expecting. Hotel was, it was very disturbing, but because it was so artistic and beautifully written, shot, and executed, I give all the gore and the disgusting moments a pass. All right, we're already almost to the top 3. I'm on number 4. I'm blasting through these. So number 4, can you guess what it is? It is 1984. Now I think this is going to be... I thought he fell. I think this is going to be the biggest debate that people have, because so many people absolutely despise 1984. And I get it. I understand fully. I loved 1984. The ending of the season makes me cry. Like, I'm sure if I watched it again, I will probably cry again. I definitely cried at the ending. And I was left wanting more. Like, I wanted more of the story, more episodes. Like, if they did a follow-up, like how they did Apocalypse for Coven of 1984, I wouldn't be mad. A lot of people probably would be. I personally wouldn't be mad. And 1984 was actually the last season before the next one, season 9. I've completely stopped listing which season these are. I'll probably add them in as captions. 1984 is set in the 1970s.
You stupid.
I'm stupid. Hold on. So 1984 takes place, of course, in 1984, which is a prime time in history for like scary stuff that happen, like serial killers and murders and things like that. It takes place in a camp called Camp Redwood. Pretty sure that's the name. If it's not, I'll insert it somewhere. And it follows some teenagers who want to escape Los Angeles for the summer. So they go to this camp to be camp counselors, just to have fun and party and just enjoy their summer. But this is the time that the Night Stalker is out. And Camp Redwood has a history of being cursed because there was a murder in the 70s that happened on the campgrounds. My main love of 1984 is from my love of Friday the 13th. So that might be like a little biased opinion, a little cheats. But that's why I loved it. I don't think the acting was bad. I think the acting was really good. They played 80s kids very well. And they actually did have a jump into modern times as well, which I actually found interesting. Anyway, I'm sorry if he was really in the background being loud. Try to get him to be quiet. I also think the cast were a great combination. I really loved Angelica Ross. Her acting, her character, her vibe was just it for me. And I loved, oh my god, what was his name? He played Mr. Jingles. He actually was in the last episode of American Horror Stories that I've seen. No, he was in the third episode of American Horror Stories, the one with the drive-in. And I was glad to see him because he was great. I think he actually played Twisty the Clown too. So he might be one of my favorite actors of the series. No, I like the story. I like the twists that there are. I like the progression from 1984 even to the present day. Even though I really don't like that much, 1984 just does it for me. Okay, now top 3. If you haven't guessed already, you should know my number 3 is Coven. Everybody's favorite season, which I don't. People just love witches, and I don't really get it. I'm not a huge witch fan, but I think the basis of Coven being everybody's favorites, everybody has some weird obsession with witches. So basically, Coven is about a coven of witches. They are students at a school for witches, and they have to deal with fighting their new supreme, which is the highest witch in the world, as well as fighting the voodoo women. I prefer the Creole voodoo women with Angela Bassett. I would prefer to see a season of them over the Coven girls. No offense to Coven girls, but I'm more into Miss Marie Laveau, honey. Like, I watch a season of her. But yeah, I'm just not really the biggest fan. I mean, like I said, I put it up to number 3 because I feel like I don't want to start too much debate or too many unpopular opinions. I feel like I'll put it any lower, everybody would come for my neck. And it wasn't a bad season. I'm just not a huge fan of witches. But I think a lot of the future seasons built off of the first 3 seasons. I think those really set the tone for being like the best 3 seasons of American Horror Story. So I just feel like, and even compared to the other ones, I think it was a better season. It just wasn't one of my favorites because I'm biased against witches, I guess. I don't know. Right, my number 2, Murder House, the original season, the first season of American Horror Story, the one that started it all. I'm zoomed in super because I had to give up my shot. The original American Horror Story, what really started us all off and made everybody fall in love. I remember I first got into it, I was working at Starbucks, and one of my coworkers was like, have you ever seen American Horror Story? And we were slow, so he kind of like pulled it up and showed me. And I remember I watched the first episode while at work, like in between making drinks. And I was like, oh, I gotta go home and watch this, honey. I gotta finish this whole thing. I finished it probably in a couple days. American Horror Story Murder House is based on the Harmon family. They move into a house that is also cursed and plagued by a lot of tragedy. A lot of people died in the house, and it turns out when you die in the house, you stay in the house forever. So it follows the story of like a lot of people that died in the house. People died in the house in present day, and they end up staying, and it's all about the Harmons working through their family problems because they moved to like escape their past life. They have a lot of family, marital, parental problems, and just trying to like survive in the house and have a new start. It could not have been anywhere lower than where I have it now because it was literally the first. It started, it set the tone. People who have the first season of American Horror Story not in the top 2, y'all are tripping. The seasons later on did get better, and I think after they got their feet wet with the first season, they just progressed and got better and had different like new innovative ideas. But put some respect on Murder House's name. Without Murder House, there would be none other. And it would be, it was my favorite for a long time until my second go around watching my number one. Clearly, process elimination, my number one is Asylum. I like Asylum from the beginning, but I still had like Murder House as my top favorite. But then I did another watch of Asylum like later on, and I was like, oh, Asylum's lit. Asylum is definitely my favorite season of American Horror Story. So Asylum is about Briarcliff, which is a insane asylum, former tuberculosis hospital for the mentally insane. And there is a killer named Bloodyface, and a young man named Kid Walker is admitted to Briarcliff in suspicion of being Bloodyface. But he is trying to prove his innocence and say he didn't do it because his wife ended up getting killed. And there's actually a lot of other sinister things going on in the mental hospital that he tries to uncover. And Lana Winters, how do you pronounce it? A reporter actually sneaks in to uncover the secrets and she snuck in to try to get an exclusive interview with Bloodyface, the head of the asylum. Sister Jude finds her and admits her and won't let her leave. So now she's trying to escape. She's trying to uncover the truth about what's going on. It's just a crazy season. There's aliens, which it seems like there might be aliens in the newest season. So I kind of am hoping it's a follow-up to Asylum. But Asylum's just crazy. Like, it was a lot going on. Like, a good kind of a lot going on. Like, there was a lot of twists and turns that you weren't expecting at all in the season. And so there's aliens, there's Nazi experiments, there's monsters outside of the walls of the mental hospital, there is conspiracy, there's a bloody-faced killer who's killing people and skinning them, there's a man trying to claim his innocence, and a reporter just trying to cover it all. Like Asylum 100% deserves my number one spot, and I could watch it over and over again and never get tired of it. I could probably recite everything that happens. I could probably go on and on, but I'm gonna leave it there because my makeup's all taken off. So yeah, that was quicker than I thought, and I'm kind of happy it was quick because I didn't want to like really drag it on. I really just want to just come in and tell you what my favorites were and why I love them, my rankings. And I'm so excited for season 10. It is called Double Feature. It seems like it's gonna be aliens, something going on in the East Coast, maybe sirens. I'm hoping for sirens. Like, my vote was always sirens. I've always had like a small obsession with sirens. Like, the way people obsess over witches, I obsess over sirens. I think they're freaking cool. So I hope they're incorporating this season. And yeah, we're gonna see how that goes. So I'm gonna do a trailer reaction. So be on the lookout for that. Subscribe to my channel. So yeah, makeup's all taking off. And that is that. I always say that is that. I don't know why I always say that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what else you want to see, for me to rank anything else or talk about any other seasons in depth. And of course, in the comments, let's talk about your favorite season. What you think I'm crazy for ranking in a certain place, or what you agree with me on. So yeah, until next time, stay beautiful.
Bye bye bye.
Say bye bye bye. Say bye bye. Bye bye.